All right, welcome to another week of Wandering in the Wilderness. This time we're going to focus on quail, the other white meat. I thought that was. So we're going to focus on quail, and we're going to look at quail by reading through Numbers 11 this week. We're going to focus on different verses throughout the 3 sessions on this week's Bible study. And today I want you to hear verses 4 through 15. The rabble with them began to crave other food. And again the Israelites started wailing and said, "If only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt at no cost. Also the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and garlic. But now we have lost our appetite. We never see anything but this manna." The manna was like coriander seed and looked like resin. The people went around gathering it and then ground it in a hand mill or crushed it with mortar. They cooked it in a pot and made it into cakes, and it tasted like something made with olive oil. When the dew settled on the camp at night, the manna also came down. Moses heard the people of every family wailing, each at the entrance of his tent. The Lord became exceedingly angry, and Moses was also troubled. He asked the Lord, "Why have you brought this trouble on your servant? What have I done to displease you that you put the burden of all these people on me? Did I conceive all these people? Did I give birth to them? Why do you tell me to carry them in my arms as a nurse carries an infant to the land that you promised on oath to their forefathers? Where can I get meat for all of these people? They keep wailing to me, 'Give us meat to eat.' I cannot carry all these people by myself. The burden is too heavy for me. If this is how you're going to treat me, put me to death right now. If I have found favor in your eyes, and do not let me face my own ruin." So these are our verses we're going to focus on today. And the first thing I think to mention is that, the Israelites have already become frustrated. And they're complaining yet again. But this time their complaints are described as wailing. When a baby starts just crying just a little bit, but then it gets louder and louder to the point of actually wailing, and so that they really get the attention that they want. So the Israelites have become infants, and they are wailing and crying out to get noticed. But their complaint this time is that they have seen too much manna. That's it. They're done. They're over with. They don't want anything else. Why is it that all they eat is this manna stuff? So they're dismissing the manna. They're frustrated by that. And they want to make sure that everybody knows that they're just complaining again. And they bring back a thought of, remember all that good food we had in Egypt? They're recalling some sort of memory, but the question is, what kind of memory?
Out here in the desert, it's a wide open space, but it's almost as if everyone has cabin fever. Everyone is on each other's nerves by now. Israelites are sick of the manna. They're tired of the manna. Moses is tired of the Israelites. God is tired of the Israelites too. And Moses is a little bit tired of God. Everyone is frustrated. Everyone is kind of sick of each other, and you can tell we've kind of had this escalation as we've gone through these weeks. The Israelites started out grumbling. And then they were quarreling. And now they are wailing. It's gotten louder the more we've gone on through this Bible study. Now, I want to say this. I think that we often get the idea that it's not a Christian thing to complain. I think that we have kind of picked up this idea that gratitude is important, and gratitude is certainly important, but that should eclipse our complaining. I don't think that's true, and I don't think that you'll get very far in the Bible before you meet somebody who complains. Start in Psalms. Psalms is just full of people who complain. People who say, "God, why do the jerks seem to get away with it?" And God answers, and God is okay with this complaint. If we go back to kind of one of the early weeks of our Bible study, the people say, "Hey, we're out here and we are about to starve to death." And God does not get angry. God just provides manna and quail there in that moment. What's the difference between that complaint and what the Israelites are doing here. What is it that about this that makes God angry, that brings about punishment? Well, there may be a few things. First, notice what they say. They say, boy, we missed that fish that we got at no cost. Ha! If you remember, the Israelites weren't even given straw to make bricks with, and they were suddenly given fish at no cost. And for that matter, why do they think that the manna cost anything? What were they paying for manna? No, they weren't paying anything. They were just going out and collecting it. Part of the problem here is that the complaint, the wailing, is based in fantasy. It's not a real situation. These people were slaves in Egypt. They were not being given free fish, free onions and garlic. Which, by the way, sounds like a great dish. Sauteed fish and onions and garlic. I like that. But that wasn't what was happening. What was happening was they were getting this manna for free in the wilderness. They were in the desert, and they were getting something for nothing. And yet that was, their complaint was that they missed the free fish. No, that was not true. That was a fantasy. Here's another issue. Notice that the writer just breaks in here and wants to describe the manna again. He said it was kind of like coriander. You could grind it up. You would make a cake. It was just like an olive oil cake. It was moist and good. The manna was good. And yet what the word on the people's lips was, we are sick of this manna. We are tired of it. I don't want to see any more manna. They overlook what's good in their complaints. They overlook what's been provided for them. This is a real danger in the church, that we always want to look at what the next church has. We always want to concentrate on those things that we don't have. But we overlook the things that God has gifted us with, that those are the things that we're to take and use to build the kingdom. I want you to notice where the complaints come from, too. The complaints don't come from inside of the tent. Moses can hear them because they go out and complain at the entrance of their tents. These complaints aren't sitting around over coffee on the kitchen table. They take it out to the front porch. This is a very public complaint. They want to make sure that they are heard by Moses to kind of discourage and undermine him, heard by other people so that they can join in the complaining. They are making pointed criticism here. And rather than calling out to God, rather than calling out and honestly seeking what's right, they want to just complain. God, Moses, no one takes kindly to this. They are frustrated by the people's frustration. They are upset by this wailing. And so as we'll see in our next sessions this week, something has to be done. And God and Moses both kind of seem at the end of their rope. And so we'll see that response to the complaints.